Let me say this out loud and clear. You are meant to fail at cricket. But the problem isn't failure. The problem is how you actually deal with that failure. So say you go out for a low score and you're trudging off the ground, and your negative self-talk is probably going a million miles an hour, saying things like, I always fail against this team. I just can't handle the spinners. Or I always stuff up and let the team down. If your self-talk is heading in that direction, you're heading in a downward spiral. So it's being able to convert failure from a mindset point of view and turn that into feedback. Hi, I'm Damien and welcome to my channel. If you're new here, I simply help batsmen overcome their self-beliefs so they can reach their full potential. Because I had negative beliefs when I was a batsman, and once I identified those and was able to understand my mind, my on-field performances changed dramatically. I remember watching Greg Chappell as a young kid, and he went through a series against the West Indies where he scored 4 ducks in a row, and I think it was 7 ducks throughout the whole series. And I could always remember, I can remember it now, just feeling how much stress he would have been under, his self-talk, what that would have been doing. And recently I came across an interview with Greg Chappell, and he talked about that slump that he had against the West Indies. And what he said was just amazing. He basically said that he sat himself down in his hotel room or bedroom, wherever he was, in darkness, and for about 2 to 3 hours, he went through every innings that he could remember that he'd played, whether it was in the backyard, whether it was at school, whether it was club cricket, first class cricket, test cricket. And he went through those innings and he found out that on the good days, he was following a routine. So when he scored runs, he was following a set routine. But on the bad days, he wasn't following that routine. He was able to work out that 9 out of 10 innings that he faced when he went out, was because of him. And he did say that yes, there was the occasional good ball, good fielding or whatever. But majority of times he was dismissed, it was his doing. And he worked out that it was basically not a technical error, it was more so much a mental error. And once he identified that and was able to work on that, his results certainly changed. Now here's the mindset shift that all batsmen need to understand, is that failure is feedback. So if you've got beliefs that you're not a high run scorer or you fail under pressure, well, your creative subconscious mind is going to look for examples or look for outcomes or look for performances that confirm those beliefs about your ability. That's its job. That's what it's designed to do, is to keep you safe and keep you in line with what you believe about yourself. Now, I have mentioned before in previous videos, yes, there's going to be occasions when, if you have this belief that you're not a high run scorer and you score a 60 or a 70, well, yes, that can happen for that short period of time. So that just proves that it can work and you can exceed your beliefs in that area. But it's something you really need to work on. But as far as failure goes, we need to adopt the failure is feedback approach. And once you do that, that's when you start to grow. That's when the beliefs really start to change. As I was doing the research and having a look at this key area about failure and trying to turn that into feedback, I looked at some statistics. And what I came across it's incredible. So we've got Ricky Ponting and Sachin Tendulkar. So Sachin Tendulkar, highest test run scorer in history, and Ricky Ponting is second. Listen to these statistics. Sachin Tendulkar, in all his test innings, he scored over 50 just 36.6% of the time. Ricky Ponting passed 50 in just 35.9% of all his test innings. That means he failed in 64% of his innings. But all we do is remember the centuries. We don't remember the fails. Isn't that interesting? When I came across that statistic, I was like, wow, right? And here's something incredible I saw the other day was an interview. It wasn't an interview. It was Roger Federer, the famous tennis player, giving a talk at a university, and this was incredible as well. So it said, this is what Roger Federer said. He said, in 1,526 singles matches I played, I won almost 80% of them, but I only won 54% of the points. That means I lost 46% of the points I ever played. Wow. But this next part is gold. Roger Federer went on to say, when you're playing a point, it has to be the most important thing in the world, and it is. But when it's behind you, it's behind you. That's the mindset, ball by ball, point by point in terms of tennis. So not carrying that failure with you, but basically learning from it. And linking back to the Greg Chappell history there, what he learned was that concentration was working on one ball at a time. And he realized that, okay, if I could concentrate on one ball at a time, I could easily concentrate for 1,000 balls. And the reason he could do that is that he only needed to concentrate on one ball at a time. And here's how you turn that failure into growth. So, number one, you need to reframe failure into feedback. So that stops you from heading into that self-talk spiral downwards. So something you could actually say to yourself is, this isn't failure, this was feedback. And you use that one sentence to stop that loop and to stop that downward spiral of negative self-talk. And the second thing is, after each dismissal, assess what went wrong. What were you thinking at the time? What did you do well, even though you did fail, but what did you do well? So ask yourself those questions and don't skip this action here, is assessing what you actually did during that dismissal, what your thoughts were. Number three is to, if you haven't already, develop a between balls routine. This is highly, highly important, highly critical to your success. So it might be tapping your bat, flicking the pad, touching your helmet, whatever it might be, but you need a between ball routine. Because if you do get under pressure from a bowler, your self-talk can head you in that downward spiral. You need to reset and get back on task, all ready for the next ball. So you might say something like, new ball, new opportunity. So keep replaying that in your mind as well. Because as Roger Federer said, as Greg Chappell said as well, once that ball's gone, it's in the past. So nothing you can do about it. So you need to concentrate for that next ball. So that in-between ball routine. And the last action to do is your affirmations and visualization. This is how you change your mindset. So you may have affirmations such as, I am calm and composed when facing fast bowlers. I am calm and perform well under pressure. But visualize that as well as you're reading your affirmation, you're visualizing that. I actually saw a YouTube video this morning, done a few years ago with Kevin Peterson. And he was talking about his mindset and his mental routine, that the night before a match, he would lay in his bed and literally visualize himself facing the bowlers that he was due to face the next day. So this is what these guys do. They visualize, they have goals, and they write down their affirmations. They don't just wing it by skill and luck. It just doesn't work that way. If you can overcome the obstacles that we all do possess with our mind, wow, sky's the limit. It really is the limit. So if you're tired of letting, one or two innings really dent your, confidence in your ability, head over to my website at thecenturyclub.com.au and you pick up my ebook there. There's mini courses. There's a free mini course on the Triple Mind Mastery that is basically a prerequisite to anything I mentor on or coach on in terms of batting. So that's number one. And if you really wanted to dive a bit deeper, we've got the 6-week cricket batting mastery programs. You can do that one-on-one with me over the 6 weeks. You can do it self-paced as well and give you the first video for the first week. At the end of that, we do a one-on-one call that will get you set up for the remaining 5 weeks of the program. But if you're just here simply to get a bit of an insight into how the mind works in cricket, stick around, plenty more to have a look at. And while you're here, you might want to check out this video here. It talks an awful lot more about affirmations. But in the meantime, drop a comment below and let me know what you sometimes struggle with in terms of your batting mindset. Bye for now.